On this day in 1953, Jackie Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier. This video looks at Jackie's achievements and the background that she strove to hide. But first, what is the sound barrier? Well, the speed of sound is around 343 metres per second at a temperature of 20 degrees C. When an aircraft approaches that speed, it experiences aerodynamic drag, which slows it down, and that is why it has been called the sound barrier. It was initially thought that it would not be possible or safe for a human to travel at that speed, but in 1947, Chuck Yeager became the first person to break the sound barrier. And when an aircraft does this, it creates a sonic boom, which is such a cool pairing of words. This sounds like an explosion, and it's when these sound waves are so compressed by the plane moving so fast that they become one big noisy shockwave. To live without risk for me would be tantamount to death, Jackie said. Now, Jackie Cochran is a very interesting figure. She was born Bessie Lee Pittman in Florida, and she worked in a cotton mill until she left when she was 10 years old for a live-in position at a beauty salon. Truly, it was a different time. She was ashamed of her background. She grew up in poverty, so she insisted that she was an orphan, but she stayed in touch with her family on the sly. Now, she was a hairdresser at the age of 13, she was married by 14, she was a mother at 15, her son died when she was 19, and she was divorced by the age of 21. She did keep her ex-husband's surname though, Cochran, and she adopted the forename Jacqueline in the early 1930s when she moved to New York City to work as a beautician. In 1932, she took her first flying lessons and she got her pilot's license in just 3 weeks. It took me a year to learn to drive a car. She took to it like a duck to water, or a duck to air. Anyway, in 1935, she started her business, Jackie Cochran Cosmetics, calling her line of cosmetics Wings to Beauty. In 1935, she became the first woman to enter the Bendix Transcontinental Air Race. In 1936, she made the very astute decision to marry the millionaire Floyd Odlum. In 1941, she became the first woman to ferry a bomber plane overseas, and then she trained female pilots in both the UK and the US during World War II. You may know them as the WAFs in Britain and the WASPs in the US. They had a bit of a cooler name. Anyway, in the early 1960s, she financially supported the programme to train and send women to space, but upon finding out that she was not eligible to go herself because she was too old, she spoke out against sending women to space. So much for the sisterhood, eh? Now, there's a wonderful documentary all about this. It's called Mercury 13. I think it's on Netflix. But she said, I would have given my right eye to go to space. She died in 1980 at the age of 74, and at the time of her death, she held more speed, distance and altitude records in aviation history than any other pilot, male or female. She was an absolute badass. Yeah, I am a bit disappointed in her for speaking out against female astronauts. I do get it. Like, we have all been a bit spiteful sometimes. I just think that maybe the impact was not quite so. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Why not subscribe? And I'll see you tomorrow.